Okay, so welcome in this Cyclical Wisdom online workshop. I'm very happy to have you here, to have you signing up for it, and by signing up, making this first step of choosing yourself in a way, wanting to know a little bit more about how your feminine cycle is going and how is it influencing your life. So, just a quick introduction about who I am, what I'm doing, and why I'm hosting this workshop today. So, for the ones who don't know me, I'm Elina, and I'm supporting women to reconnect with their cyclicity, with their body, with their inner wisdom through a holistic approach. So, through the touch, through body practices, through education, through photography. I'm having a large spectrum of tools to accompany women on this path of reclaiming um, their feminine essence, their cyclicity, so that from a space of rest and groundness, they can embody and live in harmony with their needs, the body of their needs, but as well the wish of their heart. So the reason why I wanted to host this workshop at first, and this is my main, I would say, mission with this work to support women to reconnect with their cyclicity, is to give an understanding, some educational content that every woman should have or have had in their youth or in their journey to understand how their body works and how they don't work as male. And so, how maybe has society taught us to live is actually maybe not aligned with the way how we live, and how through reconnecting with this wisdom, with how the cycle and what's living within us to create life every month can support us on this life journey to live a life more in harmony with as well less stress, more groundness, and using these gifts that our feminine aspect is giving to us, which we will see further in the workshop, which kind of gift we have for the different phase of the cycle. So for me, through sharing this content, I want to bring in this awareness and offer the opportunity to women to empower themselves one step more on their journey through understanding the way how they cycle work, how what's happening in their bodies, what's happening in their hormones, and how is this influencing them on a day-to-day life, and how instead of fighting against it, we can come back and be an ally with that. Because many of us, me including, we've been suffering from different ways, through different ways from these hormonal imbalances. And then we've maybe been searching at one point for like an external answer, or we've been put on pill to give this an answer. But when we come back to the core, where we come back to ourselves, and we look at it from a different perspective, we can realize that, okay, I have the answer within myself. I just don't have these tools, this understanding on how do I work and what does my body truly need from the inside and not from the outside. So it's a journey of remembering to me. It's not about gaining the knowledge, okay, I get it, and then you have it for your whole life. It's more like walking the life with your cycle, because each cycle is an opportunity for you to learn. Each cycle, each month is going to be unique, it's going to be different because it's um, influenced by your life experience, by what you are experiencing in life, in which how you put yourself in which environment, how much stress do you have, how much connection to nature, how much connection to others, really like what you eat, how you breathe, how you move, everything is going to influence your cycle and its quality and its way of related to you. So but when we understand that, at least I figured it out that for myself, and I see that as well with the women I'm supporting, we connect to this more sacred power that we have within us, because we know and learn to know how to navigate life with these ups and downs, with this emotional flow, with everything that can comes within the life path, with more awareness, with more kindness, because we know that everything is impermanent as the cycle is, and everything we pass on. And as we go on this journey, we start to gain more and more tools on the way to navigate life with having our cycle as a compass. And this connection, like I probably already mentioned, comes from many reasons, but as well, if we come back to today, our life pace, how many, how fast we live, and how we forget to slow down, to come back to our bodies, to come back to nature, because of the pressure, because of society, because of disconnection, and because as well of miseducation for us as women um, in this specific subject of the feminine cycle. So, and all of this creates illnesses, create imbalances, hormonal imbalances, because the body is sending us signals. Is sending, hey, something is not right here. I need you to slow down. And then if you don't listen to it right away, he's gonna yell even louder and louder and louder and send you signals even stronger until, yeah, you really have to stop and to listen. And so today, with the tips and the tools that I'm going to be sharing with you, it's as well to be in that prevention for yourself, to be able to maybe not reach that step if you haven't been there, but maybe if you feel that you are in this loop and you don't know how to come out of it, or just in general as a prevention, it's really like things I'm doing myself since a few years, since when I started to learn to be taught about. And this is so supportive. And today I'm living my cycle. Of course, it's not every day or every cycle super wonderful and super easy. I think this is not the journey of life, but I know how to navigate through the challenges, through the up, through the down with these tools. And I know that what I can bring to myself in different aspects and how this can support me. And as well, one thing that I really love about this woman work is this capacity that we have to come together as women and to speak about this topic, because this is one fact as well, that we were not connected from the beginning with our wombs, with our feminine cycle, because we didn't just have a space to talk about. It was just not part of our habits, especially in our European cultures. We were not sitting together with women. We would not openly speak about that, or even just with our mom, with our family, with like our close ones. This is such a subject that holds a lot of shame, a lot of suppression, and all of that is just building, 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 building. And then we come to a point where we feel, oof, okay, something is missing. I need to reconnect something. Um, so before we go on to more practical and tips and understanding of the phases and how everything works, I'd love to share with you a little guidance to help us together to drop in our bodies, drop in our wombs, and then after that, I will go on. So I would invite you to take a very comfortable position. Can be sitting is better. If you feel like laying down, lay down, but sitting would be better. Come back into the practice. Just close your eyes. Land in your body. Deepening your inhale. Deepening your exhale. Feeling the ground under your hips. Your body becoming heavier, opening to the earth. Relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your jaw, relaxing your tongue, relaxing your eyes, relaxing the muscle of your skull, feeling the subtleness, the relaxation overtaking your body. At the same time that your body grounds, length, arrive. I invite you to bring your both hands in your womb space and your lower belly space. Connecting with this area of your body, feeling the warmth of your hands, feeling your presence arriving through your hand. Feeling that at each inhale, it's your whole lower belly womb space that expands, and that at each exhale, it's your whole womb space that contracts. Doing this movement as a wave, cycle of life, navigating the wave of expansion and the wave of contraction. Creating space at each inhale, bringing inner subtle movements to all your organs, your hips and pelvic floor area. Connecting with this space of yourself where lays your matrix, the cells, the area that came first of yourself when you were still in the womb of your mother, where life started, where life was created and keep on being created. Through your right hand, feeling right beneath your palm, your right ovary, presence of your right ovary. Connecting with this organ carrying life, not only life in the matters, but all kind of life, ideas, creation, art, all your creativity spectrum. Feeling under your left palm, the presence of your left ovary. Breathing with you at each inhale and each exhale. Feeling at the triangle that your hands are forming, presence of your womb, of your uterus, connecting with this physical aspect as well as this energetical print, all what it carries, all the stories, the emotions, project, life. Being in presence with this organ created you, that makes you, be whole, be wild, be complex, honoring this part of yourself that allow you to feel, allow you to vibrate, allow you to receive, allow you to shine, allow you to be inwards, allow you to connect with your intuition, allow you to live your life with this sacred femininity aspect, taking this opportunity to be with yourself, to be with your womb, feel the warmth, bring your attention, breath, presence. Hear what she has to whisper to you, to observe its presence with no rationalization, just pure presence to yourself. From this space, you're gonna initiate some very slight movement, starting from your whole womb pelvic area, whatever your hips, pelvic floor is inviting you to do, however he's inviting you to move. Just follow his guidance. Give yourself a few more minutes to be in presence with yourself, your womb, to maybe hear one word, one feeling, one sensation that he wants to communicate with you. Bringing this subtle movement up to your spine. If you feel like, just take this moment for yourself, with yourself. I'm going to be playing some music for a moment, leaving you to it. taking a moment in silence. Another deep inhale and deep exhale through the warm space. Making some subtle movements in your fingers, your shoulders, circling your neck, stretching, whatever feels good for you right now. And whenever you're ready, coming back, your eyes open. Rebecca, if you would share one word with us, how are you? How did you feel? What came to you during this practice? One word or 2 hours sentence.
I'm feeling calm, very calm.
Thank you. So, yeah, so as we're gonna see through the next part of this workshop, the importance of taking care of our bodies, our nervous system, of calming down with all these different tools, practice, introspective practice, how they can support our internal systems to feel good, to be good, in order then to as well be able to create a hormonal flow, hormonal pattern that sustain ourselves, that is enough every month in order to allow us to have a healthy cycle. So this was just a little example among many others of practices that can restore yourself and as well guide you in the states where your body opens, and then as well where you bring your awareness to this womb space. Because I don't know for you, but for me, for most of my life, I was never really connected with my womb. I was not even thinking to put my hands on it or to be like, okay, what's going on there? What's playing? What's moving? What's holding? But then the body intelligence is so that when we just by the simple fact of bringing awareness, of realizing, oh yeah, there's something existing here. Okay, let's bring my attention here. Let's put my hands on it. Let's think, okay, do you have something to tell me? Do you have something to communicate with me? We are already making a big step towards this recognition. So I'm going to be sharing with you now my screen. Do you see it well, Rebecca? Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. So here we go. We are in the middle of it. So yeah, like I was calling the workshop Reclaiming My Feminine Cycle, what I wish I knew 5 years ago. And so this is what I'm going to be sharing with you, like the information, basic information to understand how your feminine cycle work and how through different holistic ways you can support yourself, understand yourself, and cycle sync or harmonize your lifestyle with respecting the flow of your cycle. So to start with, throughout one cycle, we go through 4 phases. So one cycle, the length of one cycle is very unique to each woman. We can go from the average, we were gonna say it's gonna be between 28 to 35 days. But for you, you might have a shorter cycle, you might have a longer one. So really here, I'm taking this 28 days as a base, but knowing that it's very unique, different, depending on each woman. And so through these 28 days, our body intention and our womb intention is going to be, I am creating life. I am here, I am born, I'm in this body to create life. So he's gonna put everything in place with the hormones playing a huge role in that to create a nest, a nurturing nest for the potential the fertilized egg to land in the uterus and then to grow to become an embryo and then to become a baby. So this is the goal of your cycle. No matter if you want to have, if you want to really give life and want to have a baby or not, this is just what's happening every month. But in a more energetical way, it's as well happening in a way of creating life in forms of ideas, in forms of projects, in forms of art. So this is why, to me, it's interesting as well to get knowledge and to get understanding on how the menstrual cycle work, even if we don't want to have a baby right now, because this is going to play a role as well in how healthy we are and how the health of our menstrual cycle is a good and a strong indicator of our overall well-being and the way how our hormones are settled, flowy in a healthy way. So the first phase of our cycle that we're going to see here is the menstrual cycle, the menstrual phase, sorry. So this is the time where the lining of the uterine is shedding. So this is the blood when we are bleeding. The blood is coming out of the uterus. And this is the moment that we are going to relate to the inner winter, or as well according to the moon, to the new moon. One thing that's interesting to know is if for you, for example, you are not menstruating anymore because you are after that or you're before that, or your menstruation are really regular, so you struggle a little bit to see where you're at, to know that each phase is related with a phase of the moon. So maybe this can be an indicator that you can use when you are a bit confused or don't really know or don't really have a menstruation anymore, to relate to the moon, because the moon has 4 phases as the menstrual cycle as well. And the moon is the feminine representation of the energy, and we are the feminine. So we are very intimately connected to our energy. And we're going to see as well that in the menstrual cycle wheel, it is connecting to what we are sensing. So the menstrual phase, that's lasting between 3 to 7 days. This is our inner winter, our new moon. So this is our time when we want to go inwards. All our hormones are very low, like all the reproductive hormones are low, like estrogen, progesterone, everything comes to the lowest point. And this is a time where we want to go inwards. We want to give space for rest, nourishment, because our body is kind of working hard in a way because of releasing all the bleeding, all the blood, all the nutrients through the blood. And he's losing as well quite some richness through that. It's related to the earth element. So maybe if you relate it to elements, this is like the quality of earthy. So we want to be in nature, we want to be inside, we want to connect really with the raw, with the organic, with life. And then after the menstruation, a little bit just be at the end of our menstruation, this is the follicular phase that's coming. So our body sends signal, okay, she's ready for a new cycle. She's ready for a new cycle of giving life. Let's send her the right hormones. And here we have in the hormones, like we have a connection between the mind and the body, because the hormones are regulated and are triggered by the hypothalamus, which is the one that it's like a little gland that is located beneath our occiput in the brain, in our scalp. And he's the one that receives information on where is the body at and when to trigger certain hormones to then trigger other hormones, and then in our case to trigger the beginning of the menstrual cycle. So the hypothalamus is gonna send a signals to the pituitary gland to release one main hormone that's called the follicular stabilize the FSH, follicular stabilization. Oh, I have a blank. FSH, stimulating hormone, follicular stimulating hormone. This hormone is going to run all the way through our ovaries and send a signal to our ovaries. Okay, you can start growing and maturing the follicles. So in order to make this egg that is in the follicle becoming mature and ready for ovulation. And then when he's sending this signal, our body is sending signal of this sending signal that the estrogen as well can be released, and then the estrogen is gonna help our uterus to be nourished. He's gonna give all the nutrients, all the love you can wish for in order then to welcome this egg. So this is what's happening in our follicular phase, which is as well our inner spring when the moon is rising. So it's a time where as well in our cycle, we tend to have more energy because like if you can compare it to the springtime, in spring, like flowers are blooming, nature is coming to life again. Animals are coming out. I mean, yourself as well, you want to be out, you want to enjoy the sunshine, you want to be with your friends. So this is exactly what's happening in your body through these estrogen hormones. And then comes in the ovulatory phase. After this like window between 8 to 12 days, everything is well prepared. And then the ovulatory phase comes in, means that the estrogen hormone reaches a certain peak and it trigger another hormone, which is called the luteinizing hormone. And these two combined are gonna allow the most mature egg in the follicle to be released. And then from this release, the ovocyte, the ovocyte is gonna travel down all the way to the uterus, where from the time before we have prepared him a very cozy and nurtured and warm space for him to land. And then in that case, if there is sperm coming, fecundation, fertilization, then this is when it is happening. So this time is more like it's the shortest phase of the cycle. It can last from 3 to 4 or 5 days. And this is the time where you actually are fertile because like your uterus, don't know how to say it in English. Your uterus window, I would say that, is slightly opening. Your phlegm as well, what you know losing out of your blood, the white phlegm is becoming as well a bit more eggy to allow the sperm to travel through and then to land with the uterus in the womb with the egg. So this is related to the inner summer, and this is as well the full moon time. So if I'm really taking my example, for example, right now it's full moon today, actually. I didn't plan this workshop right on it, but it is. And then I'm ovulating. So I'm really in my peak of ovulation. which doesn't happen each cycle, for example. It's not something like, oh, I want to, it's not because you bleed or have ovulation with new moon or full moon that you are more or less connected. It's just like something to observe that I could observe for myself, for example, which hasn't been always the case, but it's more and more that I'm like connected with the cycle of the moon. And then, yeah, I think that adds another relation to the moon and to the relation we can have with her. So during this time, this is like really a time where we shine, like, yeah, we are just kind of in a way our body wants us to create life. So it's going to put everything in place to make sure we are attracting the person who's going to help us create this life. And then after this phase, come in the luteal phase, or our inner fall, the decreasing moon. And this is the time where estrogen is not so present anymore, but progesterone kicks in. Progesterone is the hormone that is going to help our uterus, our endometrium, to stay steady, warm, and cozy. So it's going to work to maintain that there's not too much like spasm, vibration of our uterus, so that the egg really can grow and be nourished and be warm and grow as a beautiful embryo. So that is one part of the progesterone role. And so this is time that lasts usually between 10 to 14 days. It's going to be most likely the longest phase of your cycle. And it can be as well the most challenging of your cycle, because as you know, this is when PMS comes in, some mood swings, irritability. This is when hormonal signals, body signals can come in. And this is like the phase as well that is the that can be the most challenging. But we will see later on how we can help ourselves during this phase to not kind of suffer from these body symptoms, but rather soothe them and understand why they are here and what they have to tell us. During this phase, I like for me to see it as a phase that this is when it comes up to the surface, everything that we try to repress, everything that we didn't see, everything that we didn't take care of, everything that we didn't respect, we didn't honor in ourselves, it's coming strong at this time of the cycle. As well, it can be related to like hormonal imbalances, because knowing that estrogen and progesterone, they impact influences in two different ways. I'm going to show you actually the next slide, where we see here a bit more of a drawing on how the hormones are moving and when they come in. So the estrogen hormone, that's a hormone that's gonna support our socialization. That's a hormone combined with the testosterone as well. That's gonna come especially around ovulation. That's a hormone that's gonna help us and make us feel attractive, motivated. We're gonna feel good in our body in terms of as well like body recuperation when we do sports or works out. This hormone is gonna help us to really feel good, because remember, once again, our body, what does he want? He wants us to create life. So he's gonna make everything to make sure we are feeling good, we are feeling social, we are feeling outgoing to go out and meet with the world. Opposite to the progesterone, which is a hormone that has calming and soothing properties, which is here to invite us to go inwards, because normally in the thinking of the body, you are holding life right now and you have something to take care of. And you have this then hormone of progesterone that comes with this really calming and soothing vibe. And for example, when there are imbalances like missing progesterone of excess estrogen, that's when this PMS, this like intense symptoms or period cramping, period pain can comes in, because there's this imbalance that's created. And then as well, we can observe at the end of the luteal phase, the progesterone that kind of do a dip. And this is at this time where as well it can be very intense, because then these two hormones are like dipping down at night. Oh my God, where am I? What's going on? Because these hormones are not here to support you anymore before the bleeding starts, and then kind of this is like soothing. So yeah, that's a bit of a shame of like scam, sorry, of how the hormones are going on and how they are coming in your cycle, knowing that hormones in general are impacting many things in us. They are impacting the way we feel, our body temperature as well. It's impacting our smells. It's impacting our digestive tract. It's impacting the way how we relate to each other, to one another. So it's really influencing us in many ways. And so this is one more time the importance of taking care about them, of nourishing them with the things that makes them thrive, makes them healthy, because it's because of them that our menstrual cycle is going to be regular. It's going to be our ovulation is going to be beautiful. Our egg is going to be beautiful, because this is as well another important thing in the menstrual cycle, and the sign of health is the quality of our ovulation. And if ovulation is not happening, if it's not strong enough, this is a sign of like, oh, okay, maybe there's something here to look at. And so through this change throughout this cycle, I love to use the archetypes, because the archetypes are a way how we can relate to some images in ourselves that we all carry from a collective perspective. These figures, these personas of embodiment, and that they are representing the way how each phase is influencing us. It's as well a great tool of introspection, of seeing ourselves. Okay, what during this phase, this archetype, what gift does she has, what shadows, how do I see myself in that? Am I more in my gift? Am I more in my shadows? What balance do I have? And then these archetypes are as well really interconnected. It means that the way how you're gonna take care of your follicular phase, for example, is gonna impact the way how you're gonna live your your luteal phase. So if you nourished enough, if you gave enough to this maiden, the young girl in your follicular phase, maybe the wild woman is going to live her phase differently, because she had that time where she could show up, where she could play, where she could discover new adventure, play with partners, whatever. And then the same with the mother. If the mother had her time of nourishment, of receptivity, of giving, then she's going to have more ability to come back into her wise woman and come back inwards. So I'm going to keep it short here, but these archetypes are a great way for you as well to feel. Like, to me, it really helps me cycle after cycle. I actually relay maybe more to the archetypes than actually to the actual season, where I'm telling myself, oh, I'm in follicular phase. Yeah, okay, I know what it means, I know what it is. But then when I'm telling myself, ooh, I'm embodying this young girl archetype, I'm this maiden, how is she behaving? And then you start to feel more, you start to allow your body to feel these sensations as well to come. Or, oh, I'm in my luteal phase, I'm embodying this white woman, and yeah, I feel it. I feel it in my way how I talk to people. I feel it in my need of connecting with my intuition, with my white creativity, with the nature around. So these are great tools to represent it for yourself and make it for yourself. And they all have their little traits, they all have their little personalities, gifts, and shadows. And today I'm going to be sharing a bit of that with you, so that you can understand how to relate to these archetypes within your own cycle. So if we start with the follicular phase, so our inner springs, remember that's the end of the menstrual of the menstruation, the energy rises again, and the young girl, the maiden, is here. And what does she love? She loves adventure. She's as well in love with pleasure. So doing things that makes her feel pleasurable, that makes her feel this adrenaline, that makes her feel good. And she's in that phase as well where she has trust, where she has confidence. You can imagine this like young girl walking out in the street and being like, yes, baby, I'm ready. I'm here. I'm ready for life and whatever life has to give me. Um, so she loves as well to to seduce, to charm. She is in love with exploring new ways of connecting with her body, new ways of connecting with her sensuality, with her sexuality. So to engage as well with new people, engage with new partners, engage with new activities because she has this energy. And once again, if we remember what I shared before, it's because as well of the hormones, of this urge of estrogen, of this presence of testosterone that is supporting us to feel this way. And so when we let her be in that uh, inner throne, kind of, in her gifts, she can really give us this opportunity and this realization of mind clarity, of mind sharpness. She has like a very long focus, and she's as well like charming. She can charm to kind of get what she wants. She's confident, so she's just working in life with this like self-worth and self-trust that is as well good to feel, no? Like, and it's good to allow yourself to feel that. It's not necessarily like an archetype that in society is well seen or validated. So it's as well an archetype that you might see yourself have struggled with. Because to be this young girl, yeah, maybe when you were in your 50s or when you were in your 20s, but then when you're in your 30s or 40s, we more expect you to be the mother. We don't expect you to be this young girl that is like seeking for new adventure and don't really care about what others are thinking. So it's interesting to see as well with the archetypes how you relate to them and how much space do you give to them in your day-to-day life. Her shadows, although, can be as well that she's too much in that confident, too much into I want to express what I think, defend what I think, that she's a bit in that rebellion. So it can create like conflicts with the people around her because she, yeah, don't really necessarily care about what other around her are thinking about, and what she wants is like exciting. So she can as well be too perfectionist because she has this clear and sharp idea. She's like, okay, I know what I want, but not letting other people giving their opinion. And as well, she can be superficial because she's in this mood of charming, of being confident. So she can be a little bit like, yeah, on the surface. This is a great time as well in your cycle if we want to look at more as a nature perspective. This is a time of planting seeds and creating visions of like not really creating visions, sorry, but more planting seeds for the cycle that's upcoming. Like you see in spring, what do? Well, your garden has rested for the whole winter, you nourish it with good soil, and then in the spring you plant your seeds for the next cycle. So it's a good time to plan what you want to manifest in your cycle or in your year or in your life, to see how you can do that, what kind of strategy you can put, what do you need to get that. Because she has this confidence that whatever you want, you will get it. And she has this clear mind of, yeah, I can have it and I'm going to do it. And then we have the mother archetype that comes with the ovulatory phase. So this is the archetype that you might find yourself the most familiar with or not, but at least in society, this is the one that is the most validated. It's her traits of personalities are this expansion, this nourishment, and this like feeling of abundance, of I'm welcoming people, I'm here, I'm present, I'm in love with others, I'm giving myself for others, and she loves harmony. So this is the archetype that, yeah, you might feel like when you are in. Once again, if I'm taking my example right now, I feel like I really want to connect with people. I want to give to people. I want to be present. I want to listen to them. I want to dress like a long table and have friends all around having a feast together. Like I'm in this nourishment phase where as well I'm open to receive. I'm open to receive what life has to give me. So her gifts are to be yeah, generous, to be supportive, empathic. So it's a great time for communication, for example. This is a time in your cycle if you need to have a conversation with someone, or if you know that you're going to see a friend and this friend has a lot to talk about. Well, maybe you want to choose this phase because this is when your capacity are the most expanded in terms of empathy, in terms of listening, in terms of presence without judgment. So on the other side, the shadows that she can have is that she is too much into the giving and she forgets herself. She forgets about her needs. She forgets about what nourishes her because she wants to give too much. She's in this dependence of others as well. She's seeking too much outside validation, outside love, outside care because she forgets herself. So she's really making her happiness depending on what other people are mirroring back to her. She can be oppressive and really as well omnipresence, like really be too present for others because she is in that mood of giving, of being here, of being present, but not realizing that maybe people around her don't need her that much, or yeah, need her, but with her boundaries. So there's going to be a time of your cycle where it's important and can be interesting to look at like how how do you see yourself in this balance? Do you feel you're in balance, you're in harmony, or do you feel you too much, or do you feel you're like not enough? This is an interesting time to look at the relation you have with other and with yourself. And so after that, we go into the wild woman archetype. So this one is the most wild and probably the most invalidated archetype in society because it's inviting each woman to connect back to her wildness. So to her wild nature, to her intuition, to her creativity, to what makes her part of nature. So when I'm in that phase, I don't know, I really have this image of being in nature and then having some wild animals around and just like being here, but just like being part of the whole. Um, because it's this invitation of during this phase of turning inwards, of slowly like coming back to yourself, because once again you are holding life, you want to keep it nice and warm and cozy, and you want to be able to connect with what's happening in your womb, so you are much more inside. And in terms of gifts, um, the wild woman and what you can feel in that phase is really this analytic mind. You have this capacity of knowing what's good, knowing what not good, and to let go of things that doesn't serve you anymore. As well, when you have conversation with others, you might find yourself very harsh or very sharp, of like, yeah, what you say is bullshit. Kind of like, you have this capacity of knowing a certain truth, and yeah, knowing that this truth is right, kind of. But the shadow side is that you are too sharp, and then other people are like, oh wow, this is strong, and they can take it in a strong way, and this can create conflicts because they don't understand why you are so sharp and why you're like saying no right away without even waiting to hear for explanation. But because deep down you just know you don't need explanation. But these other people don't necessarily know it, especially maybe men. So this is an interesting as well perspective to see in terms of communication, on the way how you communicate, and noticing when your no is coming out without even the other one having to finish his sentences, and maybe to be open to communicate about that. So she's very sensitive, and she has this great capacity of teachings, of sharing, because if you look at the wheel of the cycle, she has lived her lives. She went from the young man to the young woman to the mother, and now she has experienced the different passages of life, and now she's in this moment of her life where she has understand deep in her cells, deep in her wombs, some things about life, and so she's ready to share. So it's a good time, to teach, to pass on knowledge, and to be present as well with women around yourself that are sharing the same interests. So her shadows can be that since the progesterone is here calming down, but sometimes can be a bit like unbalanced or lower. It can be a time where we have like these oppressive thoughts, where we are really a lot in our mind, and as well with these patterns of self-destruction, of self-comparison. So it can be a time where you surprise yourself comparing more yourself with other women, or being like, oh, I'm not enough, or I'm not doing enough, or like really being too much in your mind. So that's why this is a phase where it's interesting to really bring a certain care to be in your body or to be in nature, but to bring movement, to bring presence to your body, to help your mind to be less present and more fusion between both. And then comes the wise woman archetype. So this is when you have your menstruation, and this is when hormones are really like calming down. So this is a phase where you're more thoughtful, where normally you're more calm, grounded. Well, I know that if you have period pains, or cramping or any kind of uncomfort, it can be not maybe these feelings that you can sense, but it's just the threats that are related to the wise woman. So you have this capacity to connect because of what's happening in your brain, like your both hemispheres are the most connected at this time. You have this capacity to connect with more the subtle of life, or what's more invisible. So pay attention as well to your dreams, for example. They can be more like sending messages to you, wanting to highlight something. That's a time where you are you're opening a channel where you have this capacity to receive whatever wants to be received, whatever wants to be sent when you open yourself to it. So you have as well this connection to your intuition, to anything that's more in the depth, more in the unseen. This is a time to claim it back and to open yourself to it. So it's a time as well of manifestation and destruction, because in this whole cycle, this is the moment where you can envision. Before planting the seed in the spring, you are in this time where you envision, okay, I'm here, I've lived the cycle, I've done like assessment, I know what's good, I know what's not good, I know what I want, I know what I don't want anymore. What can I envision for the next cycle? What do I wish to manifest into life? What am I receiving from this channel that I can then bring it into life through my body? In her shadows, she can be too much in her own space, too much inwards, that I don't want to talk to anybody, I don't want to talk to anyone, really in this witchy mood, but she's really inside and being a bit like selfishness and passive, because of what she's living. Okay, so this was about like the archetypes and a little bit to give you this idea of the different qualities, shadows, and how you can observe it in your own life and cycle. So now I'm gonna be talking with you about what your body is yearning for during the different phases of your cycle. So what your body is nourished by in the different phases of your menstrual cycle. So I think it's going to be quite familiar, maybe in a way, with what we spoke with the archetypes, because it's like interconnected. And I decided to blend it together, like the two first phases of your cycle, so the follicular and the ovulation, And then I did another one for the luteal phase and the menstruation phase, because follicular and ovulation, yet they are different, of course, but in terms of what your body needs and wants and is nourished by, we can find some similarities. So in the follicular and the ovulation phase, you're gonna be nourished and your body is yearning for social engagement. So this is the time where you can most likely go out, meet new people, meet your friends, go for drinks, stay out at night a bit longer. This is your time where you're gonna feel the most enjoying this moment. That's a time as well where you want to go on new adventures. So if you've been wanting to try something new, this is the time where you want to do it, because you have this easiness to go out of your comfort zone, and you like challenge and you like to be out, especially in your follicular phase. So if there's something new you want to try, go ahead. And then as well, it's a time like what I said with social engagement, where you want to as well have like dinner tables filled with friends. So you want maybe to prepare a feast to invite your friends at home. You're gonna be shining and you're gonna be in your power. You're gonna be in your presence. So yeah, it's a great time as well to do practices, to be with yourself and to celebrate life. So to practice gratitude towards life, towards yourself, body exploration, body pleasure. So to dance, to do whatever feels good. Basically, this is like, yeah, these two phases of your cycle, they can be not for everybody, but they can be the kind of the most joyful and happy and easy phase to be on, because yeah, we have this like happy feelings and we want to do new things, and it's like very comfortable to be in. And then in the luteal and the menstruation phase, your body's yearning for something different. Your body is yearning for calm, slow down, and reflect. So you've been you have had your time with your friends, with new people, connecting, dynamic, like being out. And now your body is asking you to come back to yourself. Because once again, if we come back to the beginning, our body is like right now making sure life is nourished and warm inside your womb. So this is a time where your body is gonna like if you give him time by yourself, if you give him time with nourishing practices, with massage, for example, or body practice or body work to receive, as well to surround yourself, not to isolate yourself completely, but to surround yourself with like a few and authentic relationships. So gather your group of favorite women with who you feel good, or favorite men, whatever, or favorite mix, and make sure you will nourish yourself with these relations, because you're gonna be and want true relation. You're not seeking for connecting, you're not seeking for superficiality, you're seeking for true relations. This is a time where your body is yearning and really thriving on receiving connection, receiving intuition, and on being creative. So, for example, get a piece of paper, do some drawing, be intuitive, whatever your way of connecting to your intuition is, journal, make a piece of art, whatever is for you. This is something that your body is gonna really enjoy. Create yourself some safe space of expression. So whatever is needed to be said, whatever is needed to be voiced, whatever is needed to be expressed, make sure you create yourself a safe space to say it, or at least to express it out loud or on a piece of paper, not necessarily to someone, to make sure that this is out of your body, but this is not creating a conflict or communication interaction which can be strong. And in these phases, we want to avoid quite these conversations that are going to be tricky or that are going to be emotional, because we are not in really this best mood. So your body is going to be very happy if you go in nature, if you really reconnect with your instincts. Be playful with that, whatever form it can be. And of course, if you give yourself rest, care, and nourishment, especially I mean, I'm not sure if I can say especially in both are good, but maybe more in even more in your menstruation phase, if you can, when especially the first 2 days when you bleed, really like declutter your to-do list, declutter your agenda, and be present to yourself, listen, rest, sleep. That's a time as well, your luteal and menstruation phase, where your body needs to sleep more and wants to sleep more. So allow yourself to sleep more, to sleep longer, to stay a bit more in bed, to as well like not be so much on screens, not be so much on social media, anything that's gonna create a stressors or anything that's gonna make you stuck in your mind, we want to avoid. So we want to really try to be with as simple things as possible. And I know that during the luteal phase, because I have it myself, sometimes it's tricky because we are feeling uncomfortable or we have those thoughts or we are in our minds or we have just had this conflicts with the neighbor or whatever. And we'd rather just go scroll on our phone or eat a whole chocolate thing or whatever because this just feel more comforting. But believe me, when you start to, okay, maybe I'm aware of that, but how can I switch my pattern that instead of scrolling on my phone, I can just lay down my yoga mat and just lay down for 5 minutes, putting some music on, or take a pillow and scream out after at the pillow, or whatever techniques is good for you to express yourself, but to find ways that these emotions are released and that then you know how to release them out of yourself instead of adding another layer of stressor for your body. Okay, so here I'm gonna be sharing with you the way of cycle synchronization and hormonal support. So these are the 5 pillars to me that are super important and necessary for hormonal balance. And the number one is nutrition and the way how you eat and the quality of the path of elimination. Number two is your movement, the way how you move. Number three is the stress management and the quality of sleep. Number four is the menstrual cycle wheel. And number five is the balance between the feminine and the masculine energy. So these 5 pillars are gonna build kind of a grounded base and help you to harmonize your life with your cycle to have this healthy hormone for a healthy cycle. So we're gonna start with the first one, and I'm just gonna take a sip of water. Okay, so the number one is the nutrition and the way how you can synchronize your cycle with your food. Knowing that, of course, through your food, you are getting the nutrients, and these nutrients are the one creating your hormones. So through what you're gonna eat, that's gonna influence the quality of your hormones building, the quantity. So this is why nutrition is on the one side important to have and to have a great diversity of different different inputs because your body needs different kind of proteins, but as well like carbs and fats to be able to build the hormone in order to give you and give your body all the power it needs. So in general, for me, it's a rule that I'm applying for myself. Even if sometimes I don't have the time to necessarily prepare a meal that's aligning with the phase I'm in, I'm always thinking diversity and the importance of having the presence of a source of protein, can be animal or vegetal, complex carbs, not always, but it can be, healthy fats, and as well the presence of veggies or fruit. So this is what I'm a bit like always having in the back of my mind. And then depending on the phases where you are in, you're gonna want to look at some specific way of eating because once again, this is related to your body capacities, abilities, and hormonal flow. So if we start with your follicular phase, The follicular and the ovulatory phase are the phases, especially the follicular, where your metabolism is the fastest. So where your digestive tract is going to be the fastest and so the easiest. So this is a time as well where it comes just after your menstruation, where you have lost a lot of blood and nutrients. So we want to bring in life kind of in your gut, in your belly. So we want to bring vibrant, light food. That is like if you think about spring. So spring, I don't know, from me, I'm seeing lettuce and salads and things that are light and airy. This is a time where you can eat. And because as well you have this like a faster metabolism, it's going to be easiest for you to digest these things. So you can think raw food, salad, and then we're going to look at detoxing as well, your liver detoxing after all the work that your body has done through menstruation. And we want to replenish with iron because iron has been lost during menstruation. So we want to bring that in. We want to bring that gut health, so microbiota supportive like kimchi or sauerkraut, everything that's gonna support your gut health. Like some sprouts, because sprouts are source of life. So we want to bring this life again in ourselves, and high fiber to support our digestive tract and as well replenishing ourselves with some good nutrients. When we switch to ovulation phase, we can look at more specifically the way how we support our liver, knowing that our liver is playing a huge role in the menstrual cycle and in the capacity how to process the hormones and how to eliminate them with the large intestine. So we really want to take care of our liver because if our liver isn't healthy enough or supported enough, he's gonna struggle doing this big work of eliminating, recycling this estrogen, especially. And if they are not eliminated, then it's creating an excess, and this is when uh, irregularity can comes in. So we want to support our liver, and still we are in that phase where we can eat vibrant, nourishing food, alive. So anything that's again like salad or anything that's like this is good. We're gonna bring in some fibers as well to help the transit, so to help like hold the path of elimination to function. We're gonna bring antioxidant food and B vitamins. And then in the luteal phase, what we're gonna look at and what's gonna be helping us to not have this strong SPM, for example, or any kind of discomfort, is to maintain our blood sugar and to minimize inflammation. These are really, for me, this is the key one of the luteal phase, to look to maintain my blood sugar, because progesterone influence in a way that our body is less sensitive to insulin and to the glycemic. And so because we have less of this like sensitivity, if we have a blood sugar that is not like super regular, we're gonna have this up and down, and they're gonna impact us in a big way. So we want to maintain this blood sugar, meaning we want to eat like complex carbs, some healthy meals, preferably warm, because we want to support our body. Like after ovulation, during ovulation, sorry, the temperature of our body rises. So with our luteal phase, we want to help our body, that we don't want to make him work more. So by giving him cold food, for example, he's gonna have to overwork to make sure the body temperature stays the same. So that's why we also want to eat like this warm and grounding, because we can be a bit in our mind, we can be a bit like up there, everywhere and nowhere at the same time. So we want food that ground us, that put us back in our body, in earth. So earthy food. So we want to bring in as well some magnesium to prepare as well for the menstruation phase, to help like the cramps to soothe. So basically, yeah, during the luteal phase, that's what we're gonna look for. And this is a time where our body metabolism is burning more calories. So we're gonna want to eat more. And by eating more and maintaining your blood sugar, we're gonna as well avoid to have this munchy time where, I don't know, sometimes out of a sudden you just want to eat a pack of chips or some fries or anything that's greasy, that's really unhealthy. Um, if you maintain your blood sugar steady and then if you eat enough, usually you should not have these like cravings that are coming, or if they are, they should be a little bit here and there, and it's totally fine as well. But yeah, this is the reason why as well you want to eat more, so maybe more often, maybe 3 meals or 4 meals a day, or eating like bigger proportion. Please go ahead, don't feel shy to do it, or don't think, oh, this is too much eating for what I need or whatever. Just listen to what your body needs right now. And then in the menstrual phase, we gonna want to mineralize our body, to nourish it, and as well to maintain blood sugar and lower the inflammation. So because our body is busy doing a huge work of releasing the endometrium, we don't want to put him more work with how to digest food things. So everything that's like fatty and greasy and cold, and we want to avoid at this time. We want to have like low glycemic index food that is earthy, comforting, that is warm. So you can think like stew or soups, curries, anything as well during luteal and menstrual that is more like spices. You can bring it on because this is like helping the body to warm up, and this is what we are looking for during these two phases. So once again, here you can see like similarities between follicular and ovulation and luteal and menstruation. On the one hand, follicular and ovulation, we're gonna look to like bring life back to the body, support the gut health, bring like, yeah, with the fast track and fast digestion, we can be easier on what we eat. And then during luteal phase and menstrual phase, we're gonna focus on maintaining the blood sugar, having a steady, like low inflammation, being comforting, being earthy, with warm and consistent, dense, rich food. And yeah, then the importance in that I was mentioning a little bit with the liver is the importance of the path of elimination. And this is as well playing a role in the health of your menstrual cycle, the way how your body is able to externalize all the waste that is created. So like it's very simple, but like how often do you go for toilet in a day or in a week, how regular it is. This is a sign that you can use of self-observation. And if you don't go regularly, if you don't go once a day, for example, let's say, it can be okay. How can I support myself maybe with more fibers or in a different way to help your like track system to go out? Because like I said, if you don't have this like regular um, this regular track of elimination, on one hand, physically, if you're constipated, for example, it can create some like tension as well in your womb space, in your uterus, in your rectum, because of the location. But as well, like excess hormones can be reintroduced in your blood, and this is then creating excess hormone, and then these hormones are going on the hormonal receptors, and this is making a big mess. So we would like to, yeah, avoid that as much as possible. So the other pillar is the movement. So movement sync. So synchronizing your movement with the phases of your cycle. And we start again with follicular phase, where this is a phase of your cycle where you can rise intensity. You come out of your menstruation, so slowly you can bring in more movement, more intensity. You can do things like running, dancing, more like intense yoga, Pilates class. It's a time of trying a new activity, something maybe you've been yearning to try, playing tennis or whatever it is, collective sports. And it's a good time as well to do some breath work, for example, a bit more in an intense way. So because of your hormones and the capacity that your body has during follicular and ovulation, you can focus on building muscle, building strength, and your body will have a great capacity to recover as well. So this is a good moment to do that as well during ovulation. increase intensity. You can do high intensity training like HIIT, dancing again, running, yoga, like doing some muscle training if you go to the gym. This is a time as well where it's a nice moment to build muscle and to pay attention to that aspect of your movement. So ovulation and follicular, we as well motivated for that. We have this energy present normally in our body, so it's much easier to go for a run. It's much easier to go to the gym than in menstruation, because you have this natural urge, this natural motivation, this natural focus due as well to the presence of testosterone during ovulation. So enjoy this moment and give your body this like pleasure, and what then your body is releasing through the pleasure of doing sports during this time. And then during luteal phase, we're more gonna look at slowing down. Do maybe still some Pilates. I feel Pilates is like a nice mix depending on the class, but that brings in this like gentleness, but yet strength. So doing some wild intuitive dance, for example, so no need maybe to go to the ecstatic dance or collective dance group of a neighborhood, but rather maybe be in nature, putting your headphones and then intuitively doing some movement, feeling what feels good for you. Spending some time in nature, introducing some yin yoga, like some soft practices that will as well help you to drop down from your mind to your body, or at least to find your balance. So this is on you as well to find what would feel better for you. Great time to come into a women's circle, for example, because you want to connect still, but with really authentic relation and people who are thinking a bit similar way than you are. During the menstruation, though, this is the moment of going very easy. I would not recommend like any strong sport or intense sports. I would more like do meditation, journaling, some yin yoga, yoga nidra, walk in nature, nostril breathing as well, because it connects to both hemispheres. So this is a good time really to take it easy and really be listening, because during luteal and menstruation as well, if you force too much your body, if you force too much yourself, it's gonna be a big stressor for your body, and it's going to be impacting the menstrual cycle. So that's why as well it's important to know to slow down, and to know when you can push and when you can withdraw, because this is gonna once again support your hormones. Another pillar is stress management and sleep. So why the stress management is important, and all this like nervous system care and endocrine system care, it's because when we are under too much stress or chronic stress, our body is constantly creating stress hormones, and one that you know probably, that's called cortisol. And this cortisol has the same, is based on the same beginner. I don't know how to say that. Is built on the same than progesterone. So they have the same creator, let's call it like this, that is the cholesterol. So if there is a constant creation of cortisol, then your body doesn't have enough resources and enough cholesterol to produce progesterone, for example. And so as your body is going to prioritize this creation of cortisol, because this is your way of surviving. Like, you imagine your body is like still functioning and thinking like hundreds of years ago, and his priority for you is to survive. So when there is a stressor coming in, he's gonna put everything in place so that you are making sure that you're running away from the stressor and from the danger that you are in. And so when you have too much of these hormones or this stress in general, this is gonna impact all your internal systems, and then your menstrual cycle is not a priority at this time. So your body is simply not gonna prioritize the creation of the hormones. So that's why it's an important aspect to have in mind the quantity of stress that you put yourself in and the way how it's impacting your menstrual cycle. So we're gonna uh, go towards like this awareness of nervous system care. So for example, like receiving body work, creative safe space, reducing stress in whatever way it can be for you. It can be from work, it can be family, or it can be as well external stressors that are not from you, but like, for example, endocrine disruptors that are gonna impact strongly your hormones because they are gonna come on the different receptors, your environment that you are put it in. So we want to look at these different aspects and see how you feel stressed about it or not. And it's in taking care of your nervous system, it's as well by being safely present to yourself, making rituals, daily practice, just being here and presence with having this rest, this balance between your lifestyle and the way how you are feeling inside of you. The sleep is as well another important component because this is during sleep that your body is recovering. And so deep and restorative sleep can start with as well, if you are not sleeping so well, maybe looking at how much time do you spend on screen before going to bed. This we want to really limit it because this is creating again this stressor in your mind, and this is like gonna push the time you're gonna fall asleep or gonna make you sleep but not very fully. We're gonna try to have gentle and cozy evenings, lights, and to watch the sunrise and the sunset, because chemically when we watch the sunrise and when we watch the sunset, some hormones and some things are happening in our pineal gland and in our system, and this is like sending signals to our body. Okay, sun is rising, I'm rising. Sun is setting, I'm setting. I'm like slowing down, and my hormones as well slowing down. So yeah, stress management and sleep is an important one, because then the relation that your nervous system has with your whole gynecologic um, area is intimately connected. So if your nervous system is outregulated, this is gonna influence your menstrual cycle. So there is like constant connection and constant relation between both, and as well with your digestive system and all your different systems. But yeah, this is for me, the importance to understand what I really realized only like a couple of years ago or something, this interconnection of all the systems that we have inside of us, that if one is out of balance by a waterfall way, that's going to impact another system and another system. So that's why I love this holistic approach, that we look at ourselves really from this whole perspective and not only through one, because through this wellness we can have an influence on different systems in ourselves and then take care of ourselves in a very complete way. So another pillar of the menstrual cycle is the menstrual cycle wheel, and part of that, the infradian rhythm. So I'm not sure if you heard about that, but men and women are ruled and are functioning with different rhythm, and men are functioning on the circadian rhythm and women are functioning on the infradian rhythm. So the circadian rhythm is the most common one. It's like the 24 hours clock, how society is living, how we are living, and how we are waking up and doing our things during the day. So, for example, yeah, waking up in the morning, having this urge of cortisol and hormones to get up, and then we do our day, and then in the evening, there's this melatonin hormones, and then we go to sleep. So, this is the circadian rhythm where we have these hormones that are functioning on a 24 hours clock, and this is how men are functioning. But as a woman, we have another one that is the infradian rhythm, and this is our menstrual cycle hormonal flow. So I like to say as well, living with the moon cycle. So this 28 days calendar, in which this is like the fourth phase of the menstrual cycle. So in which we cannot be the same way every day for 28 days because we are just ruled by different hormones and by different phases. So knowing the difference between, of course, we have the circadian because we have this hormones and way of functioning that makes us get up every morning and go to sleep at night and function during the day. But on top, we have this infradian reason. So yeah, we need to integrate this, meaning that every day we cannot function the same way. Otherwise, on the long run, we're just not gonna last very long. Or exhaust ourselves or burn out or yeah, because we are just disconnected from this natural rhythm that is our true nature, that is the feminine nature. So yeah, what I was just talking now, the feminine wheel connecting to your nature, aligning with your cyclical essence, and embracing your wholeness. That is like a big one for me. That's embracing all the parts of yourself that you don't have only just to be one or the same, but that you have these different aspects, these different phases of yourself. And the goal is to bring them all in on the scene, on your life scene, and then to be present with them, to learn from them, to be taught by them, and to see how they can support you in your life and how much you are so beautiful and so unique with your wholeness, with not being the same every day, with having your phases of up and down, with having your emotional flow, with having your sensitivity. This is the beauty of being a woman, and a woman that is connected to her herself and to her feminine essence. Okay, the last one is the feminine and the masculine energy. So this comes as well a bit with the menstrual cycle wheel. This is this balance and this sacred dance between the feminine and the masculine. So between the doing and the receiving, between the structure and the creativity. And this is a pillar because we have more capacity and ease, I feel, to be in our masculine energy of doing, of being structured, because this is the way how maybe we've been taught, how we have seen our, uh, how we grew up in, what the people around us were doing. This is much easier to be in this. And this is a great one to have to, yeah, be creating and manifesting the life in a way that you want to have, but as well to have this capacity to be receiving, to be connecting to this creativity, to rest, to surrender, to connect with this intuition. And this is, yeah, the sacred, finding your balance in this sacred dance. For me, it took me years and it still take me time, taking me time and work. Um, how I can more easily be in this like doing phase and um, forgetting this moment of receiving and fully trusting and fully opening and fully receiving. But this moment are as much important as the other one because they are the integrative time. They are the time where we open ourselves to receive wisdom, knowledge, finances, whatever it is in whatever form. So when we open to this balance and this, we have this awareness, we are as well able to receive the gifts of the feminine, the gift that this sacred energy has to give us, to opening it, to let it talk in our core and to integrate really these qualities of the feminine. So I wrote this little quote, let's say, that each cycle is a new opportunity to learn, to deepen your relation to your womb, to listen to your body wisdom, and to treat yourself as your most precious thing on earth. Each cycle for me is really a moment of introspection, a tool that you have in your toolbox, a very precious one that you have in your toolbox to navigate life with awareness, with capacity of stepping back, with observing, and with consciousness. That each cycle is unique, that life is very impermanent, that the states where you are in right now is impermanent and will not last. That knowing that if one day you feel like this, you can allow yourself to feel different the day after, that everything is moving and that every cycle as well has its own wisdom. And it's giving us the opportunity once again to connect with something that we maybe have forgotten, but it's very much here. It's very much in ourselves, from the collective, from all the work that has been done before us in groups of women. But it's a moment of remembering when we open ourselves to the wisdom of our feminine cycle, of our body. It's an opportunity we give to remember this connection, to remember where we come from, to remember as well that we are not alone. This was an important one for me to feel as well, that I'm not alone living this every month. I'm not alone having this up and down emotional pain. I can be surrounded by a group of women who as well have the same interest to be present with their wholeness and don't want to suppress it, don't want to repress it, but rather want to give um, want to give space for it. So we are slowly coming to the end of the workshop. Um, well, I really hope that the workshop gave you great understanding, depending on how much knowledge you had about it already, great understanding on the way how your body works and the different phases and how you can support yourself through different aspects. And really give you, most of all, this like motivation of being present with yourself, of creating the space for your womb to be expressed, to be heard, and to express herself. I just would like to talk about that from the 13th to the 17th of September. I will be hosting a women immersion in Portugal in the Algarve. So it's 5 days where basically it's just going to be a big combination of all what I've been talking about, where we're going to be regenerating our bodies with nervous system care, somatic practices, body practices, and at the same time connecting on a deeper level and experimenting the connection with our cyclical essence and using these different tools of introspection to learn to deepen the relation with ourselves, but as well using the power of a circle of women to be able to reflect and observe. And as part of the workshop, I'd love to give you €100 off if you sign up by Sunday, the 13th of July, before midnight. And then for the first one who will sign up, I would like to offer you a gift, a restorative holistic massage for the first of you that sign up, that I will be giving on site. So to really offer you a complete experience of relaxation, of care, of wellness during this immersion. So I would like to thank you very much for your presence. Thank you for choosing yourself. Thank you for making this time, whatever it was on live or that will be in the recording you're gonna look. For me, this is very precious when I hear or see women that are stepping in that, getting interest in that, educating, because I feel like we are slowly building this like net, this web, this connection of women, that we are doing this together and that we are not alone in all of this. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Here we go. So, well, it was nearly 2 hours. I talked a lot. Okay. I'm gonna stop the recording.